why don't we start at your childhood when you were saying in that one other podcast how you always used to be really sensitive, overly sensitive. You were deeply sensitive from a certain age that you remember. Why don't you talk about, because I get this so much. I work with a lot of people, as I'm sure you do too, that also say, ever since I was young, I remember being, more sensitive than everyone else.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought something was like, looking back for a long time, I thought something was seriously wrong with me as a little kid because I used to go to school and I used to, I can vividly remember standing out at the bus stop as a kid and crying and not wanting to get on the bus. And I remember my mom having to like talk to the bus driver about me getting on the bus and being like scared to sit with the other kids. And when I would go to school, I can distinctly remember being in kindergarten and being sent to the social worker because I was crying in class. And looking back, I was a very anxious and shy and introverted kid. And I think that really stemmed from the fact that from a very early age, I've always been very intuitive and empathic, and I just didn't know how to handle that at a young age. And it was a bit problematic, especially in relationships, because I didn't fit in with a lot of the young boys at a very young age. So they were all like playing with cars and doing puzzles and having like sword fights, and it just wasn't like, it wasn't my thing. So at a very young age, I was just extremely sensitive, and it made things difficult for me, and I never really felt like I fit in.
Do you feel like, and I've heard people voice this and communicate and articulate this in different ways. The way I describe it when I was growing up is I always felt like people had something that I was lacking. I was like, God or whatever created all this stuff, made everyone else normal, but there's something lacking in me. I saw other people being happy and being calm, but I like you, when I heard that other interview you did recently, I was like, man, this is so hitting home. Being really sensitive and also being told by family, friends, teachers, God, it's not that big of a deal. Don't be so sensitive. I remember my dad yelling at me and stuff. And so in different cultures, and certainly in the path of mankind, the revolution and the hunter-gatherers days, and the people that were really sensitive, highly empathic, like you're talking about, those were the shamans.
Mm-hmm.
Those were the shamans. They were like, back in the day, everyone had their place.
Yes.
The people, the hunters, the shamans, the medicine people. Nowadays in American culture, and I know things are starting to change, but we don't value that high sensitivity, that intuition that much. It wasn't until a few years ago, maybe 5 years ago, 6 years ago, that I learned about sensory processing sensitivity.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps highly sensitive person, and
Yeah.
I'm one of those, and I can usually tell other people too, through their body language and communication.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's 20% of 20% of all humans and 20% of animals too innately have this trait, SPS, the highly sensitive person. Papaya, my parrot, I could tell when I first met her, when I went to the pet store in Hawaii, in Oahu, where I was living at the time. And she came right up to me, and it was like this instant love at first sight. And I knew that she was an HSP bird too. So it's like, and a lot of times people will pick pets that are HSPs. So what I've learned is that it's actually a superpower once you know how to gear your life towards becoming, like knowing that you have this SPS.